welcome to This Week in Sports for Thursday, November 3rd, 2016. I'm McClung here with Trevor Stankiewicz. Trevor, welcome to the show, your first time.
Thank you.
So we're happy to have you here. So we're going to start, obviously you got to start with the World Series, one of the best Game 7s in history last night. Yeah. Cubs ended up taking it. What did you see?
I saw a lot of different things. A lot of that had to do with this game, I believe, was the game before really impacted this game. Like, using Aroldis Chapman for so many innings the game before really, I think, affected his performance in this game. I mean, he did only give up one home run. That he was able to still shut the door, but he wasn't the same pitcher. Cleveland was, I don't know how to put it, but they looked pretty out early on. They looked like they were flat, as my coaches usually say in baseball. They were flat. They had no jump to their step.
Yeah, for a Game 7 in the World Series, they didn't come out with what you'd have expected.
Yeah, the Cubs looked like they were ready to play that game. But it was a good game all around. It was tied up late in the game, and it was an exciting watch.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting. I don't want to call out Joe Madden because obviously now he's a manager of a World Series championship team, but he made some interesting decisions there that I didn't necessarily agree with, to be honest. When he brought out Lester to come, I think, start the sixth, me and my dad both said, that doesn't make that much sense. Hendricks was having a great game, and they let up 2 runs that inning. But he really worked Chapman, like you said, the couple nights before, and then he brought him in again for this game, and it almost ended up hurting him because they tied the game up going into the 9th. But at the end of the day, he got the job done. He mixed and matched like he had to, and he used the right guys in the 9th and in extra innings to seal the game. And I thought he did, for the most part, a great job, but just a couple of choices where I really thought the Cubs should have won that game by a couple runs and, in regular time by all means. But they made it interesting for themselves. But
yeah, the Hendricks move really confused me at first, but Lester got the job done and made it work, and the Cubs came out on top.
So you were saying you didn't necessarily think Zobrist should have won the MVP award for the World Series.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, Zobrist had a very good performance during the World Series, but my hope was the whole time for Schwarber. Such a great story, getting hurt in the first week of the season, ACL, thought he was done for the season, and then coming in and having the impact he did on the World Series, even though he couldn't play the games at home because there was no DH and he can't play the field yet.
That was one thing where when the Yankees won a couple years ago, I don't know if you remember, Hideki Matsui won MVP, and he only played in a couple games, which, is fine. If you play in 3 out of the 4 wins, you should be up for consideration for that. The reason I don't think they gave it to Schwarber is because Schwarber's impact, to me, like, he had some big hits, and he obviously did some great things for that team, but it was more, like, mental. Like, just getting him back, they kind of embraced, like, the spirit of the Cubs, how, they're never out of it. They're going to climb back, and they're going to fight for everything. To me, though, when you look at it, I think Zobrist deserved it because he was so consistent through the whole postseason. Even when we were talking about Rizzo, who he was struggling, they were saying how Rizzo couldn't hit the ball this postseason. He ended up turning it around at the end, but Zobrist was one of the only guys in that order that was consistent the whole year, and he showed it again in the World Series. And then obviously he had the game-winning hit in the 10th inning of Game 7, which is huge. So to me, I think they made the right choice, but honestly, they couldn't have gone wrong either way.
Yeah, I think Schwarber was just my personal MVP with just everything he had gone through. It was a pretty big deal in my mind.
So you know what I love about baseball? Is that they play extra innings. They play until they're done. The NFL, in the regular season anyway, they don't do that. We had 2 ties now in the past 2 weeks, and I don't know about you, but I hate it, all right? Yeah, I think they should just get rid of the tie, just let the guys play. I think it's ridiculous. You want to elaborate?
Yeah, the ties in the NFL really make no sense to me. It benefits neither team. All it does, it feels like they played for nothing. They played 4 quarters, then go into overtime and come out basically where they went into the game at. So it makes no sense, and I believe the NFL's got to fix that.
You're absolutely right. And then just with the standings, it ruins everything. It's just one thing about football that we love so much is that it's so exciting, and that the action, like the hard hitting, everything about it that we love about football is based around that. And the ties just completely take away from that because the whole culture of the game is ruined. There's no winner, there's no loser. It's just you're going to say these 2 teams were equal after all that time. I know in some games it comes down to a missed field goal. Take it out of the kicker's hands. Even if if you want to say you can't play, 6 quarters in the regular season, that's fine. Then set it up like college and just let them play until they score or something.
Yeah, because in the NFL, you have the whole week before the game where you're going over video, going over different plays against that team that you're going up against, and then you play a 3-hour, 4-hour game, and you feel like you did it all for nothing after a tie.
Yeah, because if nobody's getting the win, it's really not benefiting either team.
No.
I think yeah, you want to see. You don't want to go to that college style where as soon as they go into overtime, you're starting on the 35-yard line. But if you can't decide the game, do something. Let them kick field goals for the win. For all I care.
Yeah.
You got to come out with somebody as a winner, somebody as a loser, or else the whole like balance of the NFL gets upset, and the standings are out of control, and then you get all these ridiculous tiebreakers at the end of the year, and
it makes no sense.
Too much trouble.
To me, there's no benefit of having a tie whatsoever.
So there really wasn't an argument. That was just open.
Getting our thoughts out there.
Yeah, so you're welcome for that. We're going to stay with football now, move to college. Obviously, this was written by a Penn State fan. Jack was doing it last week, and they're all the way up to 12, which I personally don't agree with. I don't think they have enough of the schedule to say that. They had one big win against Ohio State, which was a great win for them, and they've looked really good since then. But to me, they still have that one loss, and there's a lot of teams in front of them that have one loss that are to better teams than they lost to. And I just don't think that they're at the caliber that some of these other teams in that 10 through 15 range are.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's very exciting for all of the Penn State fans to see their team doing so well this year. But although they have them as number 12, to me, they're still high 20s at best to me.
Wow. Okay.
They're not.
Bring the hammer down, right?
I'm just saying, that's, to me, the way they're performing very well. For Penn State standards, they're doing very well. But compared to other colleges, there's no competition to me.
And so the one team that they did beat was Ohio State. I was interested to think they were put 6, which I thought was a good spot for them by the committee. But to me, they control their own destiny still. I think it's going to be interesting to see if they get in. Do you think they're going to grab one of those final spots?
I think they have the ability to. Although Penn State's loss really hurt, I still think that they have a very good chance of getting in.
And to me, another thing that you're saying by putting Penn State 12 is that Ohio State's number 6's loss to them is not as a big of a loss as we thought it was. You know, at the time we were calling it this huge upset. If you're going to tell me Ohio State runs the table from here on out and finishes 10-1 with one loss to the number 12 team in the country, how could you not put them in the top 4?
Yeah, if you look at it that way, the number 12 spot does not look bad from Ohio State's perspective. Losing to a number 12 team compared to an unranked team sounds a lot better.
So, I mean, it's too early, but we do this every week, and we're going to keep doing it. Who do you see in your Final Four, and who's going to win it?
I can't give you a solid Final Four, but I will say I have Michigan winning it all.
Ooh, I picked Michigan last week, and I'm going to have to stick with it. But, I mean, at the same time, how could you count out Alabama? Because
Alabama's
so good
Alabama's playing some great football. But to me, Michigan just, like, deep down, they just had this is their year, and this is what they want to do. And I feel like their desire to win is a lot greater than Alabama's.
That's fair enough. We're going to move on to Golden State. We got Golden State not being so golden recently. Really like that caption.
Yeah, so
so far, I think they're 3-1, which, you know, most teams would be just about fine with being. But if you're the Golden State Warriors, you got a little bit of higher expectations. What do you think of them so far?
Yeah, I think they definitely believe they should be playing a lot better than they are. Everyone's expecting them to be this powerhouse coming into the season, and now they're just looking like an average team compared to everyone else. So I don't know if it's that they're not playing as well as everyone's expecting them to play, or they're just not playing well, period. Like, the Cavaliers are really doing, I believe, what everyone's expecting them to do, but Golden State is just not living up to their standards.
Yeah, I think it just might be a matter of the chemistry is just not there yet. The Cavs have it, Spurs have it, and the Warriors just don't because they don't know how to play with KD yet. There's only one basketball. You've heard it so many times between the experts and all that. And they're kind of right because, you know, they have 4 guys that are really all-stars and really great players, and they can't all have it at once, which, you know, I don't think that's going to be a huge deal coming down to the end of the year. I think they just need to learn how to play together. But it kind of scared me seeing them get off to a very slow start against the Spurs. We talked about that a little bit last week. But then the next couple games, too, they didn't play that well against the Pelicans. They barely got the win. They snuck out a couple close ones again, even last night. I just don't know. I mean, I'm not saying this is a bad team by any means. They're going to be in the Western Conference Finals probably against the Spurs. But right now, I don't know if I have faith that they could beat the Spurs.
I think it's still too early. The talent's
I mean, you're right.
The talent's definitely there. I think there's a good shot they could figure it out way before midseason, and that they will go on a run and be the team we expect them to be.
Yeah, I mean, they're 3-1. We're 4 games into the season. I'm talking about it as if they're going to miss the playoffs, and, you know, that's just not the case.
Yeah, I think we could make a better analysis once we get a month into the season, and we can really see what this team's all about.
But at the same time, I think it's worth noting that they've, you know, let me down a little bit as far as where my expectations were, and probably most of America.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there.
So, Cavs number 1 team right now?
Yeah, Cavs all the way.
I think so too. That's going to be it for us. That's going to wrap it up for This Week in Sports. For Trevor, Stankiewicch, I'm Mike McClung. Have a great night.
Pray to make it back in one piece. I pray. That's why I need a one dance. Got a Hennessy in my hand. One One more time before I go. Higher powers taking a hold on me. I need a one dance, got a Hennessy in my hand. One more time before I go. Higher powers taking a